crack on with the first little bit. It is the theme of the month. So this month's theme is not necessarily to do with the theme of our particular little show right now. It is more to do with the House of PMO, because we like to have different themes that are running throughout the year. Sometimes it's related to if there's like kind of international days or months and things that are going on, or we just want to highlight some of the things that are happening around PMO. So this month at House of PMO, we have been touching on this lovely subject, which I know many people will be, we know knowledge management and all that kind of good stuff. So we've got a really great hot seat coming up as well about knowledge. But we here at House of PMO have been thinking about the word knowledge and, just the kind of things that we are doing. And, is it information? Is it knowledge? It's all that kind of good stuff. And we wanted to be able to share, kind of insights and get you thinking about your own knowledge, the knowledge that you have within the PMO, and all of that kind of good stuff, because essentially that is what House of PMO is all about. It's about bringing people together, sharing, exchanging, helping us to move on in our particular field. So just a few little bits for this segment, just to get us thinking. So from a PMO knowledge point of view, we got thinking about, first of all, okay, if we're going to have a knowledge month, what are we talking about when we talk about knowledge? So we've got in terms of for us, really, we have an information library. So we've got a library of stuff that, that we do, all the sessions that we do are recorded, and we share the insights from those. You have reports and all that kind of good stuff. One of the things that we do quite a lot of is talking about, sorry, I'm just all over the place with this particular slide deck. But one of the things that we do quite a lot of is sharing what other people are doing and what other things that people are reading. And one of the things that we have also over at the House of PMO is the book library, the bookshelf. We've also got obviously it's conference season coming up, so again, a lot of people looking at different kinds of events that they can be going to. There's the networking side of stuff that we obviously do, where we're here right here today, and if you're here with us on LinkedIn and YouTube, there's a chat functionality. We have the chat here as well, so to get to know other people and where they are, and all of that kind of good stuff. And of course, you're listening to a session right now which is hopefully going to be exchanging some of the knowledge from things that not only from John and I today, but hopefully we'll be jumping into some of the chat stuff as well. So from a knowledge point of view, what I wanted to do, and I think you'll like this, John, is just explain a little bit more about how we are building knowledge today in PMOs. What we've found over the years is that actually, we can't afford as PMO professionals to wait around for people to write the next textbook. We are producing the knowledge all the time. It's one of those jobs where because the PMO has to be different in different organizations because of the nature of the kind of projects that they're supporting. It means that often from PMO point of view is that you're bringing in bits of information from all over the place, but making connections, providing new knowledge for your existing PMO or for your organization. And I just wanted to just share this little one that, from our point of view here at House of PMO, here's how we kind of see how we're building some knowledge. So here's John, looking rather wonderful on stage last year at PMO Learn.
Looking fabulous.
I know, he did a session called PMO Metrics and Measures, which we recorded, transcribed. He also mentions the Inside PMO report, which again about metrics and measures, which made us create this wonderful little thing, which allowed us to pull together all the different metrics and measures. We then got together with a load of people, drank wine, ate sweets, and talked about what kind of things that were in there. And from that, we then created another piece that allowed us to pull together all those kind of things that people were talking about and sharing. So a brilliant example of how I think that we as a profession, as a group, as a community, and moving on the knowledge and bringing in new things and learning from those and sharing them out. And I think that's a great example, just from purely the metrics and measures that we'd focused on this particular example. The other thing around knowledge, which really, as always, is really fascinated, certainly Eileen and I, is a bit about the PMO as a knowledge broker, and we love this term that kept popping up from a particular report called a PMO spanner, or AKA a boundary spanner, and we loved it because it comes from that research paper that you can see there in 2013 that talks very much about the PMO being that kind of function, those people that within the organization that are linking other people, other networks within the organization, with helping with that knowledge, and also thinking about, the external sources of information and how we're going to be utilizing that. It works perfectly in terms of the way that PMOs have been, I suppose, over the last few years, especially, about all the different kinds of delivery frameworks that are coming on board, the different approaches to working with teams, and all this kind of external stuff that's happening in and around project management. It's been very much that the PMO is where it's been landing, and that language, that the spanner language, is obviously that you're spanning boundaries within the organization and also externally as well. And that language, that terminology goes on to talk about things like boundary objects and boundary endeavors. And I love the terminology here. But essentially what it's talking about here, if you think about things like artifacts, so the objects are things like, the documentation that might be produced, a new process, that kind of thing. And the endeavors are things like where we're bringing people together in communities of practice, and, that we're doing lunch and learn sessions, or we're facilitating workshops and that kind of thing. And again, we've already touched on this kind of stuff before, and again, it's available in the library if you want to go and have a read at it. But it is, what we really love about this is that it's the people side of things. It's not just necessarily about reports and documents and all this kind of thing. We are there as a people connector as well. And then there's finally around the PMO knowledge, one of the things that I think is becoming more and more apparent when we look at where the PMO is going, and all this talk about, what kind of PMOs are most effective and provide and drive value and all that kind of stuff. It's also worth recognizing that as a PMO and as an individual, we have got so many different knowledge areas that we can be looking at, getting involved in, learning more about, in order to be able to do maybe your PMO is going to be changing in the future, or to do better at what it is that you do. We've taught from a competency framework, these were just some of the outline areas that, we have an impact on the job we do. But interestingly, again, a lot of chat at the moment is also about, from a business point of view, that the PMO needs to understand more about the business, and how we help, drive the value from the projects and the change that we're supporting. And just interestingly, if you look at some of the latest trends that are around the business in terms of where businesses are looking in the future, this is just potentially some of the things that will impact the PMO's knowledge in terms of understanding more about the business. And there's a lot of things there that feel like, they're not a million miles away. They're right here, right now. And we know some of these already in terms of things like data collection, data analytics, AI stuff. There's a lot of things around the customer experience, sustainability, and the zero waste, and all of that kind of good stuff. So yeah, just a whistle-stop tour, just to think about, from a PMO point of view, but there's a lot of knowledge that we've got to be able to learn, to take on board, and to help our organizations. So yeah, deep breath. Whew, that's PMO knowledge. So that's that segment done with John.